Is it good for you to joke about your shit, or is that?
Oh my God, yeah.
That's kind of what I've been on a podcast. I get
it makes you feel better. It also makes if you're doing bits, like Taylor's so good about this. Taylor will joke about such personal stuff that that it like really helps people, I think. And you know, I'm more of
the
just
relatability.
I'm more of like an escapist, kind of just silly jokes or whatever. But I'll do occasional stuff about my biological dad, and people are like, this made me feel better about I think anytime you feel like seen or heard in some kind of bit or a movie or anything, you're like, oh, that's cool that's also, I feel like I connect to something. It's cool.
I thought the easiest, simplest joke I think you tell is something along the lines of like, if you have to call him your biological father, you're probably not in a great spot with him.
Yeah.
Everyone else just calls him my dad, my father.
Another one that people liked was like I remember I went to his apartment the first time I met him, and he was petting a cat, and I was like, what's up with the cat? And he said, I rescued her from the side of the road and I nursed her back to health. And I was like, so you did have it in you. That's
where was that one for me?
Yeah.
Dipshit. What happened there? Like, just went wrong when you were younger, and then you reconnected?
Yeah, we reconnected, and I was raised by a great dad, so I feel like people get sad. I'm like, no, this is just what happened. Like I had a great childhood, so I think it's another thing where, it's like you
took his name as well, right? Or
your
mom's name or the stepdad's name?
Stepdad's name, but I call him Dad. He's my dad, legally adopted me, which he's a lawyer, so he's like, we'll go to court, we'll make it official. Like, he wants everything to be very... And I've talked to other people. My favorite joke about this, by the way, Joe DeRosa has a joke about being I'm not adopted. The term is legally adopted, but I was raised by my mom and then stepdad. But Joe DeRosa was full-on adopted, the comedian. Great joke he has is people always say, you ever try to find your real parents? And I go, no, I took the hint, actually. It's perfect.
I don't want to be desperate, and I want to be clingy.
But no, I had a great childhood. He's a great dad. So that was the other thing where, I don't want people to get sad. Well, I think their first date was probably, I was like 4 or 5, I think, and then they got married at like 7. I was like 7.
So you don't really have memories prior.
No,
I mean,
I see. It's funny. You see pictures of just me and my mom, like, oh, that kind of like there's like blurs, but no, I don't really. No, I don't think anyone really remembers.
And he was just out of the picture, like he was.
Yeah, he just wasn't around. Yeah. But but then I have a stepbrother and stepsister, and they're like all. It's funny. They're just so. Accomplished, and so my brother's at the DA's office, my sister's a litigator, they're like very...
Well, bro, I mean, you're selling yourself short here.
No, I know, but I think that's how you always see yourself. I'm the baby, so I think I always saw myself as like, I can't live up to like...
And it is funny because it's very different. Like, you're accomplished, but it's you're a clown, I'm a joker.
They're leaving law school. I was going to an open mic at Maui Tacos.
Yes.
So yeah, there was definitely a feeling where I'm like, I'm shit.
But I'm sure there are times, I think that what you do, I think that what comics do is truly the most like impressive thing in the world, to be able to make a room like feel and laugh and
fuck Navy, fuck Navy SEALs.
Yeah,
dude.
Fuck Navy SEAls. Fuck the social workers of the world, the people fighting wars, saving babies. I'm much more impressed with the
social workers. It's funny. My therapist will always say, I'll say sometimes I'm tired. Relationships take so much work, and he's like, well, sometimes giving can be energizing. And I my first thought was like, well, you never see a fucking energized looking social worker. No. You know what I mean?
They look exhausted. Someone just takes and takes and takes. No, thank you, man.
I don't know.
So in that regard, like, it sounds like you said, you had a great childhood.
Yeah, I did.
And I've always just tried to put myself in that spot where it's like, if you have a problem with a biological parent and your life is shitty because of that, obviously, I think there's a lot more issues to be had. When things are good, though, do you still at least do you have thoughts of like, well, do you have the thought of like, why didn't you come around, or was it me, or any of that kind of shit, or is it just like, I think don't care, man, whatever?
No, I think it's healthy to have those thoughts.
Like the Fresh Prince, you know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
Well, how come you don't love me, man? That's you. You are like the New York Jewish comedy version of Will Smith. I learned how to tell some pretty good jokes without him, didn't I? Yeah, that's right.
And and he was a judge, the dad. So
yeah, there you go. You were living that life, man.
But I really liked. I think part of being anyone in entertainment, I think, like, in some way did not feel seen. So I think that's a way where you're like, you didn't see me, you didn't get. So I think there is some need where you need to be on a stage or need to be in front of people and show that you have value. I think there's some deep-rooted self-esteem issue with most. I mean, I'm sure some people just like to perform, but with a lot of people, I think that's the case. They just did not feel seen in some way or another. And you feel accepted by strangers. You're like, see, I have value. I'm good. So yeah, I think there's something there for sure.
Yeah. Even if everything else is good, it's like even if subconscious, there's some thought of like, I don't know, why did you choose? Why did you choose not to?
Sure, but I also do feel accepted by my family.
Everybody else,
Yeah, and I do think my mom is an artist, and my mom.
She's funny, man. She's got like
she's
good.
Cool.
She's got her own like comedic timing when you guys do those Instagram bits.
My mom is funny. I mean, she really is, and she's very smart and cool, and she has a good sense of humor. Like we would watch things. I mean, it's cool to have a mom who's open-minded. Like we would watch Simpsons together as a kid, and she would like get it, which is cool. Like I think moms will sometimes watch shit with their kids, but my mom like got
the punchlines,
how intelligent.
The layers to this shit.
I think some people write off animated shows. Like I really do. I think people don't.
Some of it's like the most brilliant shit out there.
Because you can go anywhere.
Like
there's
that's no boundaries.
That's why like a show like Rick and Morty is so amazing to me.
You know what it is too? It's like you can go anywhere, but you have to keep it like tight still. You can't go too crazy because then it's all over the place.
Exactly.
So you have no boundaries, but you gotta like set your own boundaries, and that's a whole
like being a comic kind of right? Like no one's gonna tell you what. Like I do feel like we're like freelance workers still. So no one's gonna tell me that I have to write every day. No one's gonna tell. Like I have to hold myself accountable to do this stuff. And a lot of us have horrible ADD. A lot of us lack discipline. So that's tough for sure.
Did your mom like help you with your career, or is it just like?
No, my mom, so I have horrible ADD, like I can't focus, and my mom would just buy me like book after book of ADD. There'd be like a pile of ADD books. I'm like, do you think this is helping?
Right, I was like, that's kind of counterintuitive, like that's the point here, lady, I can't.
They sent me to a 7-hour ADD seminar against my will.
Again,
and I was
like counterintuitive.
This is torture. Yeah. This is torture.
Were you of the generation of like, did you get medicated for it? Because I feel like when we grew up, it was kind of like, I don't know, just figure it out, weirdo. You're bouncing off the walls, go run around outside. And then this generation's like, here's a fucking pill every single 2 seconds,
At the very end, I was medicated for it. So yeah, that was, I feel like, your grades just get better. You just kind of.
Was it like, oh, this is how it's supposed to be?
Yeah, for sure. I couldn't focus in school. I was like, and I was insecure. I couldn't focus, so I would just behave horribly. I think.
There's the cycle.
And then it kind of turned to me like making teachers laugh. It would kind of like I'd make jokes that they would like
Again,
too.
That attention.
Still
seen.
attention. But you make jokes instead of them being the enemy. They kind of was like part of the thing with you. So that made it way better.
Did your when you started to see success? When did you reconnect with your biological dad? Was it career based? Was it like
no? I was dating a girl who was both her parents were psychiatrists, so that was a lot. And literally every fight we'd have, she'd be like,
"This is because you're."
She would say in an even worse way. She'd go, "Who are you really yelling at?" And I'd
be like, "Oh, come on!" Like that's like a joke. Wait, you're not mad at me. You're mad at your father.
But she was saying it sincerely. So that sucked. But we never. Yeah, so I guess I was like, for my own, just to know like who you are. I remember that movie, I don't know if you ever saw that movie, Flirting with Disaster, David O. Russell. Ben Stiller's in search for his biological parents. It's great. It's a really funny movie. And I was kind of like, oh, that's interesting. It's kind of like to just know where you came from. And it's like, you don't have to even maintain a relationship. It's just something you can know.
So when you, did your mom told you were... And she told you who he was, or no? Like it was just like there's another guy, or she was like, here's his name,
she'd always told me, but I just kind of was like, what's the deal?
And then you sought it out later.
Yeah, and then I was kind of like, what's the deal with this? And
how old are you?
I was like 19 probably. Okay. He left a note in a safety deposit box, and it was like, he's an advertiser, it's pretty well written, and I was just kind of like, all right.
Really?
Yeah, it was like just a note from me. It is a little.
Did you know it was there?
Yeah, she kind of put it out there, and I was like, I'm good. And then like later, I was like, oh, can I see it? And she said, yeah, I'll get it.
Wow. And it was just like a dear son sort of thing?
He didn't call me son.
Well, dear, whatever your mom named you. No, but like, is it like a I'm sorry thing, or was it like...
Yeah, he apologized. He had a complex, I understood a little more as I went, but his wife before my mom had passed away from cancer, and I think that was pretty tough. He had already had a kid. I think he was I think he'd been through some stuff as well, and you know, I don't think he did the right thing, but I think things worked out for me. So I you know.
Well, that's what's, you know, you had a great family like pick you up, and then you have a great career.
Got picked up in free agency. I you know.
Signed a lifetime deal with his other franchise. It worked out pretty well. I mean, you know, thankfully and luckily, but it is also interesting to, you know, sometimes there are two sides to the story. Like you said, it doesn't make you didn't do the right thing, but at least you understand the point of view. Or
they
whatever.
made me the way I am in other. I mean, like what's cool is like, you know, I'm in a family full of lawyers, so they would speak in a very concise, clear way, and when they'd make an argument, even just like at the dinner table, they'd say a thing that I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting, you know, like you. Comedy's a lot like being a trial lawyer in a way, because you're proving something.
You got to make a case,
true,
and premise,
right?
and get there. Yeah.
So I like that. I'm sure that had an influence on how I speak.
For sure.
You know, so
how kind of the perfect, you know, if your biological dad's gonna be a dick, kind of worked out perfect in the sense you got some source material, some trauma, need the attention, and then you get picked up by the lawyers who teach you how to speak concisely.
If you want to be an artist, yeah,
yeah,
sure.
There you go, man.
Sure.
I mean, you know, everybody.
And I
says
lose the word artist loosely. We are bottom of the barrel, just above burlesque dancers.
You want the good news or the bad news? Well, you want the good news or the bad news?
I always go good news first.
All right, the good news is when we started this shit, only 10% of people watching our YouTube videos were subscribed. And now it's up to 40%. So that's almost like a 50-50 split. That's a 30% increase. A little math for you. That's the good news.
Too much math for me, but it's good news.
You know what the bad news is? That still means 60% of you motherfuckers aren't subscribed. It still means the majority.
It's a good thing I asked first, because that would have been backwards.
That'd have been terrible, yeah. Imagine if I was like, well, the good news is...
It's good thing I fucking go good news first.
60% still just freeloading off of our videos. And guess what? It's YouTube. You're all freeloading. It's not really all... The only cost is to push the fucking button.
Just push it. Push the button.
Push it. Push it real good.
Push it real good!